Alpha.
Live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Becoming Alpha. I'm Brandon Wein. Yeah, we're here today with a special guest, my father, Ken Wein, CEO and founder of Key Engineering. Welcome, Dad.
I'm glad to be your son.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you could take time out of your busy schedule for me.
Since we all have such a busy schedule these days.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, kind of gave you the rundown here. We like to talk to business owners and for younger generations like us who are looking to kind of dive into starting our own business, like Dan and myself. So we figured why not start with, our role models, our dads, and go, since you each are, Jeff and you are business owners, and figured, take a minute, sit down with you and learn from what you got to share.
And just so we know, I was a business owner.
He was. I guess you did sell it, but that's an ultimate goal for a lot of people, so that's awesome. I think everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people wish to get there to that point at one point in their career. So for those who don't know, you owned Key Engineering in Milwaukee. How long have you, or did you own it and worked at
I owned
Key?
it for 25 years.
25 years. So what year does that mean that you opened it?
1992.
1992. Wow. So that was
A long time ago.
yeah. No, I'm just trying to put that in.
Before your birthday.
Yeah, before I was even born.
You were a glimmer in the eye.
When Sam was born.
Sam was one.
Sam was one. So and I didn't even know that you started that right when Sam was 1 year old. What did that look like starting up, as you were having Sam and you were having a family? How did you decide to take that step and that risk to start Key Engineering?
I just did not enjoy I pretty much worked myself out of a job with a real estate holding company by working and selling all the properties and contaminated sites around the country.
Yeah.
And so basically, the decision was either to find a job somewhere or go on my own.
Okay.
And so I spent about 5-6 months working for another firm, and then decided if I couldn't do any better than they did,
Yeah.
I can always go back to work for somebody else.
For sure. So another environmental engineering firm
Yes.
at the time? And was that growing at the time? Because I feel like during the...
It was growing.
Okay.
It was just
Okay.
starting at the time as well.
Okay. And you just saw that as an opportunity then?
I think it was just a matter of I had relationships, so I knew that I could use those relationships
Yeah.
to build a business.
Yeah.
But it was the effort and commitment you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it matters how smart you are and how great you are. It's just basically how much effort and commitment you want to put into it on a timeline that really never ends.
Yeah. So
When you own a business, it's 24/7 basically.
yeah, what did that look like to you when you got started from your effort at work?
Uncertainty. I mean, there's no certainty you're ever going to succeed at any business opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's about making a commitment that you're going to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had never done it before. I mean, I think how old I was, 34 or something like that, give or take.
Yeah.
And so basically, it just was a matter of deciding to just do it.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I had another partner at that point in time, and I ended up buying that partner out about 6 years into the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then just started another business on top of that one, a rail engineering design firm as well, and I sold that off in 2012, and then sold the other part of the engineering company off in 2016. So, and I still run and operate it.
So what did that look like when you were starting as far as working? Like you said, it's about effort. What did your day-to-day look like?
It was making a lot of calls. It was doing all the work in the field, doing all the work in report writing, doing all the client development, and doing all the invoicing, pretty much doing everything.
So
There were
how
no
many
employees, there were two of us, basically.
So you and
Me and my partner at the time, and basically it was just two of us doing everything. We would switch off who would do the field work, who would go out and take care of marketing, who would meet clients. So basically, you were trying to fill every hour of your day with something that was taking place, since obviously there's no income coming in the door,
Yeah.
and paying yourself no salary. So the only way you're going to get any salary at the end of the day is to bring business into the door. And so it was balancing how to get that business and how to understand where the market was and where the prices were on different types of services that were being offered.
How'd you figure that out?
Just by making phone calls and talking to people, and knowing other people in the consulting world that were charging certain dollar values for certain projects and what that went for.
So then what was your strategy? Was it to come in at a how did you manage that with the pricing? Did you
The
come
strategy
in
was
below?
to create
Come high?
value,
Okay.
but at the end of the day, when you're a new kid on the block, you have to be willing to give things away
Yeah.
to get the opportunity.
Yeah.
And you only usually have one opportunity, so you have to use that to your advantage. So whether it's $200 or $2,000 that you're charging, you have to provide the same quality of product. And
Yeah.
then basically you're able to increase the value of that project down the road.
Okay.
So you have to gain the ability of someone's respect that they actually know you can do the product and do the work.
So how did those relationships come in that you said you built? You figured you had the relationships, so you
I
went for it.
just basically started meeting people every day, calling people, getting meetings set up face to face, and basically putting the word out in the marketplace, and basically just building any opportunity you could. So, and it could be driving. I mean, back in those days, there were, cleanup funds available in the state of Wisconsin. So I would just drive by gas stations and stop in and have a business card and tell them if they need some help with it, just give me a call.
That work?
It worked.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
so there were other opportunities as well as that, but that just kind of allowed us to then start hiring staff. And I think we ended up building to about a 10-person firm in about a year.
That's really impressive.
So then basically we just expanded from there.
How did that scaling look like, and how did you know when you were ready to hire someone you knew?
When we needed somebody to finish the projects on time.
Okay.
So even though you obviously may not be making money, you still have to produce the product and get it out the door. Clients aren't going to wait for you to tell them you can't get to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to bite the bullet between what needs to be done and where the dollars are.
Okay. Cool. So what did it, how, from starting deciding you're going to start the company that first year where you built 10 employees, what was the checklist of what you figured needed to get done first? How did you prioritize what you needed to complete to build a business?
Well, the client base is what you really need to build.
Okay.
Because without clients, you really don't have any revenue.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many employees you have if you don't have any business in the door.
Gotcha.
So building your client base has to be a key ingredient to anything. And that's basically understanding what it takes to deal with different types of people. Because everybody has a different personality. You have to adjust the personality to the person you're going to do business with. They have a certain need, and it's listening to their needs and understanding what they want, not telling them what they want, but giving them what they're asking for. So it's all about balance.
Yeah.
And then I would say we probably, maybe the second year, I think we paid ourselves a $40,000 salary because we took all the money and put it back into the business, basically.
Yeah.
And it just built it up from there.
So what did putting it back in the business mean on your end? Did that mean
Buying
salaries?
vehicles,
Okay.
buying equipment,
Yeah.
software, computers.
Yeah.
I mean, all the costs of business operations.
Yeah.
So you have to make your business as easy as possible. Otherwise, you can spend hours on end doing your own invoicing, doing everything if you don't have the ability to do it on a much easier basis than what you start out at.
Yeah. So in the first 5 years, what would you say was the biggest challenge from getting the 5 years? And what did it look like after 5 years? Were you where you wanted to be? Were you not where you wanted to be as a company?
I think I think no matter what the challenge comes out at the end of the day, I think the challenge is the same as it is today.
Okay.
Finding good staff and finding good employees and finding those that are committed to doing what the business is expecting you to do.
Okay.
And to help build the client base because the employees representing you and your company.
Yeah.
And so their image is as important as your image is.
Okay.
And then treating them as well as you want to treat everybody else. So, being fair and open and honest with them and helping them become part of the company and the mission to succeed.
Yeah.
Not everybody buys into that, you know. So it's important to find people, even in today's world,
Yeah.
you know.
How's that process changed, or what's your philosophy? Has it stayed true from where you hired back then to now when it comes to hiring people?
I don't know. I think the commitment today is a little bit different.
Yeah. How so?
I think people are the younger generation are looking for opportunity. I'm not so sure they're in it for the longevity.
Okay.
It's because they're about the experience,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
That gives them ability to see further ahead.
Yeah.
Back then, people were, looking for a career.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know
gotcha.
that everybody knows what their career is in today's world.
Yeah.
Ed.
Well, I feel that.
So find it out now while you're young.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're trying to do is, experience and get other experience from other people. So then what would you say that hiring then was your biggest challenge for that first 5 years, and
Well, I think bringing business to the door is a challenge.
okay.
But finding staff that could fit the mold of the work that you needed to complete,
Mm-hmm.
that would put the time and effort into it that you were putting into it.
Yeah.
So, we were working on weekends. I mean, pretty much 7 days a week
Yeah.
because you had to get the work done. Because if you hired staff too early,
Mm-hmm.
any profits you had were going to paying salaries. And in the consulting world, our biggest costs are salaries.
Yeah. Do you think that it's got to be something difficult to do, because find somebody who cares about your business as much as you? Do you think that's ever feasible, that somebody will care about your business quite as much as
Well,
you as
I
the
think-
owner will?
I don't think they ever will.
Yeah.
You have to provide the incentives that get them to understand that they're part of the team, and that your success is their success.
Okay.
When you aren't providing benefits and treating people fairly,
Yeah.
they aren't going to be part of the team.
Mm-hmm.
It should never be about the money. It should be about the success.
Yeah.
I didn't go into business for myself for the money. I went in it for the opportunity and the success of it, and the feeling of being on my own, having my ability to make my own decisions, and not have someone else make them for me. But you have to be willing to tolerate the risk,
Yeah.
because the uncertainty of where tomorrow's check is coming from,
Yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah. What did that risk look like when you initially took the step? What were you looking at from your
Didn't-
perspective?
I just happened to have some cash sitting around that I used, and I had no idea whether it was going to be successful. But I also knew if it wasn't, I could go back to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
I knew I had a baseline of people I knew that would probably hire me if I needed to get a job.
That's good. And you built that up through your job in real estate, or was that just over time?
It's over time from being
Okay.
in the field, as I was in the business,
Gotcha.
and knew a fair amount of people in the industry as a whole.
Okay.
So those are who I actually went to first as far as, opportunities and business relationships, and then build those relationships.
What's your philosophy on building relationships? Because it's something that Dan and I are working on pretty much every day, or reaching out to people that we've either worked with or know, and following up can sometimes be difficult. How did you manage? Because I remember growing up that people would tell me, "You can sell anything. Your dad can sell anything." So,
Well, I wish.
well, that's what I always heard. People say you're good at building relationships. How have you managed that over time in business?
I think you have to like people in general.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to step outside your comfortable box, and you have to be willing to listen. I believe in any conversation, the person that does more talking is the one that you need to listen to overall, because if you're talking to someone and you're doing more talking than the person is you're interviewing, then you're losing that conversation.
Yeah.
So you have to show true interest in anybody you're dealing with, and find something outside of business to deal with and talk about. And maybe you don't find anything completely in common, but at least that person has to understand you care about them more than just doing their work. Because they have relationships out there in the world, and everybody's beating down the door every single day. So if you don't have that trust and loyalty and willing to build that relationships and do what it takes, and not just get one job and say, hey, thanks, where's the next one?
Yeah.
That doesn't make people feel very, wanted and part of the team again. And your clients are as big a part of the team as you are, because they're helping you succeed.
Yeah.
So showing them your appreciation, and it could be as easy to thank you, or, correspondence, phone calls, emails, whatever it is that, lets people understand you appreciate the opportunity they give you. That goes a long ways at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Expectations don't go very well if you don't put the effort into it.
Yeah. How do you deal with difficult clients or customers that, are demanding?
You try to find a win-win.
Okay.
I think there are plenty of clients that are demanding in the world. I think sometimes most demanding clients can be the best clients, because those clients generally will pay the bills on time, and they have high expectations. And if you meet those expectations, they're paying the bills. The people that don't complain sometimes, or have high expectations sometimes, and you can't get them to pay, and then they want to complain about something. So it's balancing with everybody. Everybody's personality is a little bit different. Some people expect the world and don't want to pay a bill. Other people, just the opposite. So, through experience, you learn the people that you obviously can trust and do business with all the time, and the ones you have to be more careful with.
Yeah.
But that world has always been the same. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
You know.
So over your 25 years of being CEO, owner of Key Engineering, what would you say was the hardest time that you faced, since we're in specifically a interesting time for a lot of business owners with the coronavirus?
Well, I mean, no comparison, obviously, from 9/11.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people in my age group that went through 9/11. And 9/11 would have shut down all the world, basically, particularly the United States, more so than anything. And there was no business going on for 8-9 months, particularly in larger projects.
Just because people don't want to do business?
They just stopped doing large projects because capital was not there anymore. So basically, it was a shutdown of most of the United States for business for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so all the big companies weren't doing any business. They weren't, they weren't doing anything outside their normal activities because they were focused just on that. So any construction work, any projects of that nature just kind of put a hold on everything.
Yeah.
Which put a big strain on business across the board because there was no income coming in because all the projects you were working on were just basically cut off right there. Our fortunate aspects of things is that went through a market where obviously there was a bit, that was just one part of the 2001 market. But we were very diversified in there by doing 3 different types of consulting services that we were able to support the other divisions that weren't doing it well. So we were fortunate from there. I mean, the other aspect was 08, 09, obviously when the market crashed and we had a big housing crisis and we had a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Our ability there was to stay very busy because we did a lot of work in the foreclosure with banks and a lot of the redevelopment of properties and reacquisition of properties. So we were fortunate enough to have a very large supply of work coming in the door because of our relationships with a lot of the lenders in the world.
Did you have those relationships and were doing that work prior to 2008, or was that a strategy that you developed
just
afterwards?
Took on 2008 because of the foreclosures.
Wow.
So when everything was being foreclosed, the banks had to take all the properties back, but they had to obviously do all due diligence on them and take care of the environmental issues.
Yeah. So what does every building, every home have to have environmental testing done to it? No?
Every home does not have to.
Okay.
A building doesn't have to.
Okay.
I mean, as far as due diligence is concerned, if you're buying commercial properties and large residential properties, the lender triggers whether or not you have to do due diligence on that property.
Okay.
But not doing due diligence is probably not the best decision on earth because it's not expensive to do it, and you're protected from a liability.
Yeah. So how does Key Engineering find new sales or prospect from, maybe from the beginning? You said you did a lot of cold calling, walking into gas stations, to now. Is it just all relationship based where people are reaching out to you, or is it still you reaching out to projects that you hear about? How's that work?
It's both. I mean, there's a lot of repeat clients that continue to bring business back in. But as I said, you still have to maintain those clients and show them you appreciate their business because the competition in the marketplace gets harder and harder every day.
Yeah.
People are beating down everybody's door all the time just to get in the door and get an opportunity. But there's also new business that's created by word of mouth or basically clients that refer you to another client. And it's really based on relationship at the end of the day. I think you always want to build new relationships no matter where it is, and I think being in the right time at the right place has a lot of merit to it. If you're in no time at no place, you're never going to be in the right time at the right place.
Yeah.
So you may spend 5, 6 times going to different events and things and have nothing happen. And one time you get to meet somebody that, pretty much helps your business by 10%, whatever that number may be. And it's just sometimes they're just not happy with who they're using, and you just happen to meet them, and it's the right time.
Yeah.
But it's never giving up. I mean, no matter how many times the door hits you behind on the way out, you keep trying to get in that door without being too aggressive and basically doing it, just being persistent.
Yeah. Something I wonder is, how do you take that relationship, because you said you got to find some common ground, and then how do you interject the business aspect of it to it without seeming like you're trying to get something out of them, if that makes sense?
Well, they already realize why you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not meeting with them to, talk about the sun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're meeting them to basically down the road talk about business.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding of getting to know who that person is before you actually get down the road and understanding what they actually need. So if you go in assuming you know what someone needs, I don't know that you're going to be right most of the time. And someone wants to share with you what their idea of their need is.
Yeah.
It's listening and coming up with a solution.
How do you find those? What do you have?
You just
ways,
ask questions.
Do you have
Just
any
general questions of asking,
Any
general
go-to?
understanding of how things are going and what's going on, and what are you not getting that you think you should get better, and is everything perfect, or and I don't think anything is ever perfect.
No.
But I think the biggest challenge is people are not. They don't like to make different decisions because it makes it more complicated.
Yeah.
And so they like to stick with the status quo just because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
And so you have to get people out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And not everybody's willing to do that. Unless sometimes they get to a point where they just have no option. So in that case, you got to just try harder, Things are just not taking no. That, I mean, you leave any meeting with a maybe, that's really all you need.
No, to just keep probing them.
To keep probing in and making an effort. And if that person ends up liking you as a person, they're going to give you an opportunity. At least that's my experience over the years.
Yeah.
Is eventually you will get an opportunity if that person actually trusts you and likes you as a person.
It's good to know. Something I've always wondered, why? So you used to be in Cedarburg. How long were you in Cedarburg? How was the company in Cedarburg?
I was in Cedarburg for 8 years.
8 years.
We moved to Milwaukee then.
Yep, and then we're in your office in Milwaukee. Why did you move to Milwaukee versus Cedarburg?
Because I started doing a lot of federal contracting work out of Washington, D.C., and there's no easy way to get to Cedarburg. Had a lot of clients in Milwaukee. And it was basically a 35-minute drive back and forth. So I had a lunch meeting. It was 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And so I was trying to cut back on time.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, we had just started a National Guard contract with the federal government. And so we needed to be in a close proximity to be by the airport so we could hop on a plane if we had to be somewhere, to a state or anywhere else where we had to get there and do a project.
Yeah.
And it worked out well because after 9/11, I was hired to do the Command Center for Terrorism out in D.C. on 3 different levels.
That's cool.
And so that was a pretty incredible experience.
What was that like?
I spent 4 days a week in D.C. for about 10 months building a Command Center for Terrorism.
Wow.
So it was interesting and fun.
Anything unique that memory stands out about
No,
that?
I mean just
Did they make you sign a
politics of life.
non-disclosure?
No, it's just politics.
Yeah.
Federal government politics. That's
Yeah.
it. But I mean that one opportunity built many more opportunities because I was able to build relationships with senior people at the Government Services Administration, which then provided me additional opportunities after these projects were done.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that as another opportunity. So I didn't just go out there to do that project. My mind was already focused on how am I going to build this business relationship from here.
Yeah.
And then expand that one opportunity into many more.
Yeah.
And not let them call me, but me to make the initiative to start finding out anybody that was in charge of the project, anybody I worked with. I built relationships. I built lunch meetings with them. When I was in D.C., I spent my nights going out having a drink with them and just learning about what else they were doing in the federal government.
No.
And so that, I think, is where you look at the opportunity and you meet somebody, ask them.
Yeah.
I mean, all they can do is say no.
Yeah. How did you land that with with the federal government being in Milwaukee? Yeah.
I landed it through the Secretary of Health and Human Services at the time, because I had done work with the state of Wisconsin a fair amount, and I was a delegate on numerous trade missions around the world with the state of Wisconsin promoting international trade business. So I went on several of those trade missions. And when that current governor became Secretary of Health and Human Services after 9/11, was when I got the call to come out and help do all the commands over terrorism out there under Health and Human Services. So it was just, again, right time, the right place, and had the opportunity. So,
do you have a defining moment throughout the 25 years where you were like, I'm onto something, or you knew that, you had something that was successful that you could support yourself off of? Something that sticks out that you were just proud of, I guess. I don't know. A moment that felt good.
I think the proudness is only just being able to have your own business, make your own decision making, and be able to help and support other people that work for you, and at the same time have something that allows you the ability to interact with other people. I would probably say, some of my best friends today were people I probably would have never met had I not started my business. Because you just get more opportunities, and you seem to get invited to more events, more scenarios of where you can meet people. And so I think you just, not that it's probably right or wrong, you get a lot more respect in the business community. And so, people just invite you to many more things and opportunities to get to. I think my motto all along has been balance life with success.
Yeah.
And you can't work your life away and never enjoy it.
Yeah.
You got to be able to do both. And if you get too involved in work that you can't think of anything else in life, I think you're missing out on life.
Yeah. I know you were always there to coach me sideline on basketball games or preach to me when we were driving home.
Still didn't prove
about
your
my
shot very well.
follow-through.
Too many clanks off the rim.
Yeah. It's about.
And missed layups along the way.
Yeah. Hey. Still the best kid on the team.
Yeah.
Although some people might argue that. Cool. So that's the positive aspect of it. What is there, some people say there's also negative aspects of it with the stress or the management of people and the responsibilities that come along with it. What do those look like to you, and how do you manage those?
Well, I think balancing the stress is important because the stress is there every single day. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
And stress is probably becomes money, cash flow in a small business more than anything.
Yeah.
Because cash flow can change back and forth in a given month. And the banks are not always first to reach their hand out. So basically, it's the fact, there are probably two things. That's one thing. And then obviously, if you ever have to make decisions to lay people off, which in our case did happen after 9/11, and that just kind of took the place of, you're responsible for those people and their families. As business owner, in my viewpoint. And so having to make a decision to let people go who have entrusted you with, a job is a very hard decision. It's not fun. And, there are problems, there are problems with making those decisions, and there are ramifications of those decisions at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But in a lot of aspects, if you don't make decisions you have to when you're a business owner, it can domino into 3-4 times worse. And so being able to make decisions when you have to make them and put aside, everything else is what gets you through the tough times. You can't let your emotions take over.
Yeah.
You have to use your brain and make the decisions that you believe are right in your head, and you have to stick to them. And if you do make a wrong decision, you get a choice. You can make another decision.
Yeah.
The best part about making decisions is, if you make a bad decision, admit it and make a different decision.
Yeah. Cool. So something we're starting to ask everybody on the podcast is, what's your definition of success as a business owner?
Just the ability to do the things I love to do on the side.
Yeah.
Like play golf and stuff. Yeah. And operate and run a business and help people gain success through it. I also value all of my relationships, friendships, which I've been able to create many of and been very fortunate to do that. So I love the people that I work with and work for. but the friends and relationships are second to none.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can replace those. So building those relationships are what get you more opportunities down the road. And, you're able to see other things happen in life and get opportunities. I mean, with my ability, I've been able to go around the world, with different opportunities.
Yeah.
Between, Australia, New Zealand, India, China, Philippines, I've got to go all those places, through delegations.
Is that all through government work or?
All through government delegation work as a trade delegate.
You have to reach out to the government, Dan.
I'm sure that'll do it by itself.
So we started at the beginning. The tail end, you've now sold your business, which is awesome. What did that process look like? Why did you decide to sell it, and how did they end up reaching out?
Well, I mean, with any business owner, you have to have an exit plan.
Yeah.
Either it gets transitioned to family, or basically, employees buy it out. And so it was just a decision that came about with a company that I had been pursued several times before that about selling the business. I just wasn't interested.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, as my age gets older, obviously, I think I'm 40 now, aren't I? Something like that.
I thought 42.
42, maybe that's it, yeah. But anyways, I figured that I would come up with a plan, and staff had thought about a plan of acquiring the company.
Mm-hmm.
And this company was very interested, and it took over a year to negotiate it at the end of the day. But we came up with an agreement and negotiation, and I thought at that point in time was the best interest, because you can't always, when you're ready to sell, doesn't mean there's an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to look at all the opportunities, and so they offered me a contract to stay on, so I still run it, I still manage it under a contract, which is fine. I just don't have the stress and headaches anymore.
Yeah. Life is a peon, right?
Life is a peon. Yeah. I now have to report to somebody.
Yeah.
So, but that's the balance it takes. So, but it's okay. I mean, so I decided to go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, enjoy life more.
For sure.
So, and I'll probably still do consulting for the rest of my life because I enjoy it, and I have a lot of clients and friends that still use it. So.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I think we are at about time here. So thank you, Dad, for coming on here and sharing.
Thank you, Brandon, for letting me.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing. Got some insight into.
Do I get door prizes and things like that, or what? I don't even have a beer to say. What's going on with you guys?
You want to do it in the morning, so we don't drink in the morning.
Why? It's noon somewhere.
I guess noon. Wow, I got to be a peon somewhere.
It's noon somewhere. I mean, anyway, somewhere in the world, it's always noon.
Yeah, I guess. I thought it was 5 o'clock somewhere, not noon.
No, if you're noon.
Yeah.
It's really starts with that same point. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Becoming Alpha. This is Ken Wein with Key Engineering. I'm Brandon Wein with Alpha Digital Pro. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching our podcast today. If you liked it, hit the like button. And if you're willing to support us, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, comment in the section below what questions you want to hear us answer or what industries you want to see us go after. And if you didn't like my face, check out Dan's face. It might be more to your fitting. Otherwise, have a good day, guys. Thanks.